By 2026, artificial intelligence will no longer be a competitive advantage. It will be the cost of entry. The real question really is whether small businesses are preparing for what's coming or quietly falling behind. My guest today is Jennifer Punder, and we're going to talk about that and how small businesses can really get up to speed with what's going on as it relates to AI. But let me give you a little bit about her background. Now, Jennifer is a technology leader, an award-winning engineer, and the founder and CEO of Nexora Strategy Consulting. With more than 15 years of experience as a software and cloud engineer and AI consultant, she has helped organizations leverage emerging technologies to scale smarter and operate more efficiently. She has led global engineering teams, advised small to mid-sized businesses on AI and cloud adoption, and participated in NASA's technology transfer program. She has been recognized as a tech community innovation leader, named among the top women in tech to follow, and is a Guinness World Record holder. Beyond her professional work, Jennifer is deeply committed to service and education, leading initiatives in AI, quantum computing, and computer science to help prepare the next generation of leaders. Jennifer, welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you here.
Well, thank you, Chris. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today and just really get into it.
Absolutely. Before we jump into all this stuff surrounding AI and what's to come in 2026, I want to first talk about this Guinness Book World Record. I mean, what exactly is the world record for?
Yes, sure. So there was a cloud script that I went up against 500 developers. We had a specific time that we had to beat. And I'm telling you, I learned about this in one of the cloud communities that I was a part of. And I said, you know what? I've been doing scripts for a while. Cloud engineering was one of my favorite things to do. And I said, you know what? Let's see if we can do this thing, and went in and got the world record, made that
Wow.
script in a, phenomenal amount of time. I was like, oh my God, I was the developer out of 500 developers to do this. The amazing feat. There were other women in this cloud community because, I'm a person who I love community, as you stated before, just really giving back and doing things. And I said, you know what? Let me take the time while I'm giving back, also to share in something that I love in my skill set. And so that's where that came from. Then I was just really stoked and blown away when that happened. But that's just a testament to my overall passion to technology and just always keeping my skills sharp, Chris. That's what I attested to.
Wow. You know what? I kind of applaud myself for being able to talk to some accomplished individuals. And I've talked to a lot of them, but I've never talked to a Guinness Book World Record holder. So
Well, I'm excited.
congratulations to you on that accomplishment. All right,
Thank
so
you.
let's get into this thing. As we look toward 2026, what do you feel will be the biggest shift business owners need to be ready for when it comes to AI and emerging technologies?
Well, I'm going to say right now, of course, we know with AI, there's so much out here. One of the biggest things, and this is one of my specializations, AI agents, as we know, saving time, building your impact, building your income, and growing your impact across countries. That's going to be something that is huge because right now we still have a lot of businesses who they may have one business function that they have AI in, but there's certainly other things that they can automate any repetitive and manual processes, different reports, even their operations teams. And as we go into 2026, we are going to see a multi agent orchestration shift where before there were teams that were being managed with just humans, right? So now these teams are going to have humans and agents that are going to be orchestrated and managed at the same time. Also, another fascinating feat here is how fast AI avatars and influencers are moving. If you look, some of the top thought leaders in the world right now, they are using their AI avatars to actually record their trainings, record their workshops. I am exactly one of the people who have started doing that as well. And as a person who's been a caregiver for my grandmother for the last 6.5 years, I have implemented AI into a lot that I do with her care and even my business to help automate processes so that I'm not, just on 24/7 and I never miss a lead. I never miss an email and different things. And I want to help other business owners so they are not missing leads, missing sales, and they can organize processes. And if they can think about that dream company they dreamed of working with, that has not been able to reach them, AI agents definitely, and just AI as a whole, is going to help them to be able to reach those dream companies that they want to work with in 2026.
Wow. I mean, you've just really unpacked a whole lot right out the gate. Okay. But that really touches on the point that I wanted to try to really drive home here is that you talk when many small business owners hear AI, they immediately think replacement or complexity. What do you think their misunderstanding is as it relates to AI about using it in that sense?
Well, I will say their misunderstanding has been how much time that they are able to actually save. And I know it seems like this, the robots are coming, my jobs are going to be taken, but they have not really looked at how this thing is creating jobs. Of course, whenever we go through a technological shift, there are always jobs being created. And one of the things I'd like for people to know is at this particular time, if you are adding AI to your skill set, you're definitely going to be a person that companies are definitely going to look to partner with. And also, if you are a business owner and you have AI implemented into your company, you're going to move faster, a lot quicker. AI has been able to help just do so many things. I mean, just in the life cycle of it. And also, just think about processes like if you have an A&R report that maybe took you a week or 2 weeks, and now with the help of AI, you're able to get these reports done in 2 days. I mean, even maybe a day. So it's just been so many at the operations level, and even just repetitive manual tasks that you do like scheduling and certain other bookkeeping things that you can really cut your time down. So I really want business owners to know how can you save that time, get your life back. And really, if you want to do large scale creative projects, also spend more time with your family. How can you get your life back? And AI has been one of the things, like I even said it in the beginning, on my end, Chris, really has helped me to run my business, but also be a caregiver for my grandmother. It's helped me because also we all know that with the change and shift of even within corporate America to certain things, there's sometimes less time. And so when we implement AI, it really frees us up and it also helps us as a thoughtful thought partner. We don't want to ever remove ourselves as the humanistic value in this because there still needs to be human training done with the AI agents, any AI at all. I always tell my clients, we're going to train your AI properly to sound like you. So it's not robotic. And also to your clients, you're still getting that humanistic feel. And so that's what I want people to know. You're not being replaced, you're being amplified. Your time is being saved, and you're getting more of your life back.
Oh wow, I love it. I love it. But I want to go back to something you said there because I think a lot of folks are faced with that today with having to be a caregiver, run a business and things of that nature. So let's talk about that a little bit more. Can you give us some examples of how you are using AI to assist you with not only running your business but also assist you with being a caregiver for your grandmother?
Sure, yes. So, of course, I have a medication report, like an AI tracker that helps me with her. And also, I have this system that is a sensor system that is in her house where if she, for whatever reason, if she was to have a fall, which she has not, thank God, anything like that, those sensors will read to me. And so, I have different things that is set up in a system that helps with that as far as the readings for the sensors. But another thing that is also really good too is when you have different applications that are set up for, just kind of emotional support. If there are some things that are needed as far as, if I'm pretty much working all day and it's kind of one of those things where you want to make sure that you're there with your loved one, providing emotional support and just stability and different things like that. And not saying that this is like a mental health thing, but just also just always providing that, really just in person, willingness, if you will. And so I have an application that is set up that provides her with games and different things that really
Mm.
keeps her occupied, that I was able to create even with a website, even going through vibe coding and doing this thing out. And so it's so many things that, you kind of think about in your head, like, I wonder if there's an app for that or a system for that. But even with me, and that's why I've said, my background in engineering has definitely helped me because even with knowing APIs and all of this thing, I'm able to take my past skills and put it into AI and build things that are helping me, with my grandmother's care to make sure that we are having preventative measures for, like I said earlier, for falls or different things. I have a tablet set up in her house where, I can get those readings and I have it set. And also with the application that I mentioned earlier, and the medication application, just to make sure we have the timer on so it's never being like forgotten about. That is really helpful with her care as well, so that she's always alerted. With the wearable technology as well.
Okay. I love it. I love it. So, as we talk about those business owners who may be a little bit hesitant, what are three non-technological things that they can start doing now to possibly prepare to embrace AI in 2026? Again, maybe as you're thinking through, a lot of times we need the assistance, but we don't know exactly what we actually need. So maybe some things they can start doing now that are non-technological that can help prepare for that.
I would say for them to prepare, I feel like something that is not talked about or not enough, and this may be technological and not technological, really getting into, reading more publications such as
Yeah.
TechCrunch, making sure that we're on top of AI, Open AI Academy with the newsletters and different things that you can do to look at different open AI lessons. This is not something where you got to feel like you got to know how to code, you got to know about APIs, but definitely you want to stay on top of it. And I know with the news that's out today, we're getting inundated with so many things, but that's why I always say, if you have publications like TechCrunch, if you're going, and even in ChatGPT, you can set up tasks in your personalization and settings area that will give you those news updates every day. And also, it's just something as simple as also too, once you think about a task in your life that is repetitive and manual, it doesn't even have to be in your business, that you do every day, and think about what are your steps that you're doing every day and how AI can help you to save 5, 10, even 20 hours per week. Because I'm sure it's something that we all have that we're doing personally that we're like, oh man, if I could save an additional 10 to 15 to 20 hours a week, how phenomenal would that be? And on a large scale, if we're saving 50 plus hours, even 100 hours in a month. So I think it goes back to, if we can kind of take it to the grounding level of just how we move about our day, our specific tasks that we are doing at home or in business that has nothing to do with technology. I'm thinking about all the steps that go into those tasks and what we can do to automate that. That would be the first thing I would say that could be very helpful. And like I said before, just those publications and knowing what's possible. Because I think one of the things that I like to do is bring clarity,
Mhm.
to the space and demystifying AI, because I know, just like with anything, there's bad actors everywhere, but AI is definitely here also as a tool to help us when used
Yeah.
for good. And one of the things that I'm always such a stickler about with telling my clients and people who I help, make sure you're setting up multi-factor authentication on any of your models where you're using Gemini. If you're using ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek, make sure you are doing that. Also, if you have AI callers and different systems that may be calling you that have gotten a hold of your phone number, set up safe words with your family and with your friends. That way, you're not giving up personal, private, protected information.
Yeah.
So, these are just some of the things I would say, as we start to look at how we approach 2026, some top of mind things, just looking at just our everyday life and the potential that AI, if we think about, well, man, I wonder if there's something that AI can help me do this. And it definitely is. I just always say, let's start with that in the grounding level.
Wow, I love it. So, when you talk about it taking a place of all these things that you're doing daily and manually, could it possibly go to the gym for me as opposed to me having to go to the gym every day?
Well, your
I'm
AI
teasing.
avatar could.
I'm
I
teasing.
wish it could, but your AI avatar could definitely show up and you all be online together.
Can't get around that one, huh? But
Right.
I guess seriously though, you mentioned Chat GPT, and one, and I think I saw an ad the other day that talks about, and I don't know your age, but I think we're pretty close in age. That talks about 40 folks, 40 plus, only know Chat GPT. They don't know anything beyond Chat GPT as it relates to AI. So I guess to dial in on that, what tool do you find yourself using most in your business?
Well, I would say I use multiple ones, but I'm always going back and forth different tools as a thing of different tools for different use cases. So, for instance, I'll use Claude more on the writing side. ChatGPT I do for writing, but it's more of a help for like prompting, image generation for me, outlines, helping me to get my thoughts out if I'm doing, deeper blog post or something like that. And Claude is really good at really, and Claude will talk back to you. It'll get you together. You got to train Chat GPT as well. But I know in the 5.2 update that just came out, there's a version where it just doesn't agree with you. And also if you're training Chat GPT, just not to agree with you all the time, but give you the straight up facts. I always tell people you want to do that because you want it to give you as close as possible to the truth. But I'll say just the different use cases, like I said, Claude can be for deeper, intensive writing, more data for me. I tend to do a lot of video content, so I'll find myself using things like Big View that has the teleprompter built in, Descript where I can go to image to text to video or image to video, and also HeyGen, of course, to record some of my avatar videos. It's really whatever I'm doing at the moment. And Chris, of course, as things have changed, there's a new tool coming out all the time. I mean, I'm trying to keep a hold of it myself, but in my tech stack, I definitely have ChatGPT, Claude, Descript, Big View. I'm sure there's something I'm missing here. Gemini has a lot. Google Nano Banana Pro, that's a part of that Gemini suite as well. That's really good with image generation, making edits, and also creating ads for you. That's another thing that I encourage business owners as well. We're not in the time anymore where you need a $5,000 to $10,000 budget to get ads and commercials done. I mean, you can go in and go on Google VO3, Sora, and create an ad, and it looks just like it came out of a television studio. I
Yeah.
mean, how far that we have come. I just always tell people, I mean, I grew up in the days of AOL, dial up. And when I tell you how far we've come and encyclopedias where we really had to do the work, I mean, this is phenomenal. I haven't seen anything like this. And where we are going, I mean, it's just even going to get more phenomenal as we keep going.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you unloaded them all, man, and you mentioned that Sora too. That's certainly one that I've been playing around with, and like you talk about the ads and things that you can create in there, it's pretty amazing. I haven't used a whole lot of beyond Chat GPT and maybe a cloud occasionally, but that Sora 2 was one that I dialed in on here a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, okay, this is really changing the game because we had done video production, and to see what that thing is able to do in a matter of seconds, really, I'm not going to say
Mhm.
minutes, it's a matter of seconds what it can create. It's pretty amazing.
Yes, and definitely the fact that now also too, I'm not sure if you heard about the recent insight of Disney and the partnership, with OpenAI. Now you can put Disney characters in your videos. And so we're going to see more and more of this, and I'm sure something coming out of Marvel Studios or different studios with different characters, but like you said, in the matter of seconds. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the videos out here too, where we have certain civil rights leaders in different videos and certain things. I mean, it has
Yeah.
just been mind blowing what you're able to do in a matter of seconds. And so I said, no time than the present. Most business owners need to know that AI is definitely empowering them on different levels now.
So let's talk about how do you feel with the advent of all of this in terms of a leadership, your leadership style, your leadership level. How do you feel that that will need to change now with all these additional tools in your tool belt, so to speak? But you're probably managing fewer people or leading fewer people because you're managing these tools.
Well, I will say definitely one of the things I've been thinking about is just being a responsible AI leader. let's look at how we are even creating our own tools. Are we acting ethically, and also making sure that we are keeping protection of data top of mind. So even before, I jump in to build anything, let's see what we're doing. And also, there's a lot that's going on at the federal level right now as far as AI regulations. But we also have to act in a point of regulating ourselves. That's why I said, for me, things are changing where I'm always trying to lead as a responsible leader, leading ethically, and also as well, for me, it's a sense of I haven't had to be the business owner that's had to lay off several people, or pretty much, just go to a full AI, model. I do have some people that have done some consulting for me from a contractor standpoint as well. But now I often tell business leaders, this is the moment of the solopreneur too, where you felt like you were overwhelmed before, you need to hire a lot of employees. Some solopreneurs are definitely going to make out of this thing a very lucrative business. But that's just one of the top level things for me, just making sure that I am a responsible AI leader, because we can create all types of tools, but we don't know on the back end also too, is this creating harm? Are we making sure we are adding diverse aspects that really cover a lot of people? And I know a lot of times the first iteration of a tool, you can't get everything. That's why you got to keep testing all the time. We got to be sure. And even when I'm creating AI agents for companies, I'm also making sure that we are continuously monitoring so they are working at the highest level of possible. So I think it's just that forward thinking piece that we always have to be thinking of. How are we building, but building safely, not just to be lucrative business owners, but also responsible business owners, so we're not finding ourselves on the other side of things and out of business during this time.
Wow. So, what are some of the common mistakes that you see business owners committing, I guess, as it relates to using AI?
I would say just trying to use too many tools at one time. That's how they get overwhelmed. I would say, if you can go in and pilot a tool, you can pilot a tool for a week or 2 weeks to see, and make sure that it is working properly for you. Just test it out first. There are over 15,000 AI tools on the market right now. And there is just no way in a week's time or a month's time, you could probably try them all. You could get a lot of them done. But I think just paying attention to too many things and getting distracted, and that's why I say it always goes back to find one or two problems or one or two things that you really want to do to automate a process that may take you 10 to 15 hours or 2 weeks. Could be, like I said, going back to that expense report, or even your QuickBooks finances, or just getting more leads into your business. Is it something that you can do that AI can help you, where you can pilot a tool, see how it goes for a week or two, and keep going. See what's another tool. Of course, you want to make sure that you're still using ChatGPT or Gemini, or, even if you want to use something like Grok or DeepSeek. I know everybody does not use that, but some people do. And so it's just up to you. But I think just making sure that you are getting focused on what you need, because there's so much out here and we can just fall into the noise, and that kind of is what creates that chaos instead of the clarity. So I would say, focus on the tools that you need. Also, another thing that I have seen as well, if you are not implementing AI at all, let's just say that's definitely going to hurt you. I would say you want to have AI in at least one business process, even if you haven't automated your entire company. But as we know, by 2030, there are going to be several companies that are going out of business. They are right now obsolete, some of them. I heard actually, one of my business friends said there was a restaurant over in Italy right now that they just visited last year. They are still taking orders on pencil and pad right now. They have not
Wow.
implemented AI. They're doing things the old fashioned way. And I said,
Yeah.
wow, it's amazing that they're still in business. But I mean, we really have to take an account, what's going to happen right now, because there are going to be businesses that are going to just move to the next level and keep going. And so one of the things that I have tried to do is really build community and really help, whether I am helping churches, libraries, doing workshops, and telling people how they can really make sure that they are prepared to move to the next step, even if they're not ready for something like a AI agent to come in. But what are some of the base level things that you could do to set you up for success?
You know, you and I have talked about a number of tools here this evening, but to that person who maybe is listening to this conversation and saying, wow, I've never heard of that one. Oh, I've never heard of that one. Well, I've never heard of that one. And now they're asking themselves, are they falling behind or are they behind? What's your honest response to that individual?
I would say if you feel like you are falling behind, you probably are. I would say you definitely want to make sure you are using ChatGPT, because now we're on model 5.2. There's so much that you can do within ChatGPT: image creation. You can get prompts for different things, outlines. If you're creating digital products, there's agent mode now where you can connect to, and it's up to you if you want to connect your email, certainly email that you want to connect to where it can book appointments for you. You can also place orders inside of Chat GPT now. So if you're doing that last minute Christmas shopping and you need some help, you can definitely get that done all in Chat GPT. So
Wait a minute,
one
wait a
of
minute. You can't just run past that. Hold on a second, because I didn't know that. What do you mean you can place an order within ChatGPT?
so what you can do now within Chat GPT in the window, you can say, hey, ChatGPT, if you can give me, say you're looking for some clover earrings, or you're looking for a list of black belts, you can put in something. Say, for instance, you saw a commercial about something like, hey, I want those new AirPod Pros. Where can I find these? I don't want to, if you didn't want to buy them from Apple, or if you did,
Mhm.
it will give you a list. Even if it's some Etsy shops with different sweaters or different, items or little trinkets that you want to buy, it'll give you that list. And once you set up your credit card information in there, now you won't see it if you haven't placed an order before, but once
Okay.
you place the order, it will go through the prompts, and you'll see it in your settings and personalization area. In your settings area, you'll see it where it has orders after you place your first one. But yeah, you can definitely get your Christmas shopping done and any shopping you need now. And so I would say to anyone, don't feel like, hey, you got to take on 20 tools at once. Chat GPT alone may have what you need just to get started. It's definitely, it has a lot of capability. I mean, prompting, outlines, helping you to get your thought process together for your books or your videos. I
Yeah.
mean, Chat GPT is just a world of difference for everything. So I say just start off with that first, and then you can play around with other tools. It's all about use cases and helping you to get better. You don't have to feel like you got to be just, an AI genius or AI expert, because everybody out right now, AI is moving so fast. You're not
Yeah.
going to be an expert in the beginning. It's so much to learn. I have so much that I am still learning every day and keeping up with. And I mean, as a software engineer, they told us coding languages, once you learn it 6 months ago, it's obsolete the next
Yeah.
6 months. And definitely with AI, we are moving to a time, like I said, Chris, the models used to be moving 7 months at a time, now 3 months at a time, now a
Wow.
month. It's going to get to that point where it's moving to months and weeks at a time. And so I would say, start out with Chat GPT. There's so much robust, just all types of things in there that you can find to do, that can help you get level setting and creating mega prompts to help you really build out your business. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Wow. So we talked about the person who may feel like they're left behind or they're falling behind. Let's talk about what you see as the greatest opportunity for small businesses to gain an advantage within AI within the next 12 to 24 months. What do you see as the greatest opportunity to gain that advantage?
I see what the greatest advantage in, like I said, with solopreneurs now. I mean, you can create GPTs as your digital employee agents. I mean, where you needed a copywriting agent, a copywriter, or a public relations writer, you can create these as GPTs for you. Train it on your business knowledge. Also, give it a persona. You can also give it an actual photo, and you can have it. And I have this type of team also set up in my business as well that helps me think through items. No longer where you felt like if you're a business and you're just starting out, well, maybe you've been in business for a while, but you notice like, oh my God, this expense is really pretty high. I want to see how I can kind of bring this in house. Well, you can definitely still do that and not feel like you are, minimizing something in your business or being left behind. You still have the possibility, like I said, as a solopreneur, to run as a fully oiled machine with automated team members. I mean, this is something that has just been phenomenal, and as I stated before, with AI agents, it's only going to the next level. And this was the year of the agent. And like I said, next year, and even now, there are multi agent systems. Of course, Microsoft just laid out their plan for that. Also, Amazon has a platform now also where there are AI agents that can work alongside of third party agents. Microsoft and Amazon has been really big in that, and we're going to continue to see that next year. And so I think these are the times that solopreneurs are really going to gain that advantage where they felt like, oh my God, I need so much help or I need so more systems. AI is going to help them with building their systems, also building their teams, where, like I said, you are going to be able to do a lot of things in your sleep. Your business is going to be running on autopilot 24/7 for you.
Okay, so you've talked about the fact that you've got coding experience, and of course, you've been in this field a while. Of course, you got a Guinness Book World Record for AI related material. So, to that person who says, "Okay, you make it sound so easy. I don't know how to do a mega prompt and all these other things." So, let's talk about your business and how you assist individuals to be able to put these things into play.
Sure, definitely. So at Nexora Strategy Consulting, what I do, one of the things is I still do training and workshops, whether it's AI 101, helping businesses to even get their strategy together. And so that's why, of course, hence the name Nexora Strategy Consulting. What do you need? Because an AI agent may not be what you need. You may just need to find out, how can I utilize ChatGPT to help me build out these GPTs that I need, these custom you know, GPTs that need certain business knowledge and need certain SOPs set up. And so something like that can be, I don't want people to negate that. This is such a need right now, just helping people to figure this thing out, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes you may see a company who's implementing AI agents, and that's not what you need. You probably just need to know the difference between tools, how to actually create your own tools. If you want to be able to create, now vibe coding is really big, where you can sit there and vibe code, tell the software what you want it to do. I remember times, Chris, where I was coding, 40, 60 hours a week, and I mean real coding and debugging. I mean, I just never could imagine we would get to a time now AI is doing all the coding. And I knew at some point in time I was going to get out of that, just because of, the caregiving that I do for my grandmother. And I didn't want to kind of, just really stress my eyes too much over time. But, it is just phenomenal how fast this thing is moving. But that's just some of the things I help clients with: strategy, trying to figure this thing out, demystifying, also cleaning up their data. Most people don't recognize your prompts, everything in your system is only as good as the data that you are feeding to these tools. So you want to make
Yes.
sure, we get in there, make sure we're cleaning up everything, because you could have data leaks somewhere. You could have spreadsheets sitting in legacy systems that you haven't touched in years. So when we want to make sure that we provide the right guidances. So I always just start with my clients with an assessment as well. Are you ready for AI adoption? And what's some of the things that can help you get from point A to point B? Because AI is not a one size fits all situation. You may just need to know certain things about the models. If you want to use ChatGPT, Gemini and Claude in your business, and how to create digital products or outlines. Everybody's not the same. So I say, I really take into account, my clients and helping them with certain trainings, certain workshops. Of course, I do the public speaking, but, really what they need, because sometimes I know we want to think about building first, but we want to think about this from the business goals and
Yeah.
how we can help companies to thrive first, because that's what we want them to do, thrive. We don't want them to go out of business.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So let's talk. I heard someone say the other day that this may be the first time, I guess, in quite some time, that we're really at an even playing field where really no one has the advantage, so to speak, because, like you talked about a moment ago, the technology is advancing so fast. But if you can get in, get the education, get the experience and the training, you are better positioned. But because again, right now, no one can say they've mastered it because it's advancing so quickly. How much truth would you say is in that statement?
That's a lot. There's a lot of truth there. There are some people who, of course, we have people who have been engineers for years and who have been AI engineers underground that you may not know a lot of them. But that's been around. But right now, I would say, it's hard for people to be an expert now with how fast the models are moving. But, there's great programs. For instance, Google has different AI certifications, Microsoft as well. So the sooner that you get some type of certification, also get out here. Like I said, OpenAI has an academy. You can go and learn for free. The sooner that you get onto learning AI skills, it's going to help you be your best at what you need to do. And also within ChatGPT, you're able to set up those tasks every day where you can tell it to send you the latest AI news every morning. Say, for instance, at 7 or 8 o'clock, even if you wake up at 9 or 10, whenever. So you are not left behind. And so you have the latest and the greatest news updates that are coming out. And so right now, there are people at different levels who, of course, most people don't understand AI. This is just not the first rodeo for AI. It's been around since the 50s. There was not really a program, built around it. So much research that had to go into it. But certainly I want people to know, this research, the programming, all of that came out as early as the 50s. It is just not something that, now it's further advanced. But, there are ways that you can really stay up to date and learn more than others. And of course, we're going to get to that time period where, there will be some AI experts out here. You do have, of course, different people who have been thought leaders in the space who have been working on AI, in an underground type space. It's not like they were hidden, but when AI became more mainstream, you did find out about a lot of these people. But what I always say is, again, just going back to the sooner that you can get, learn AI, take some courses, listen to AI podcasts as well. Make sure you're reading those publications, like I mentioned, TechCrunch, Medium, going on LinkedIn, making sure you are being subscribed to certain publications that are not just, things that are not credible, of course, but, just really keeping yourself abreast of what's happening.
Wow. And you may have very well just answered my next question, but I guess the question is, what is that one piece of advice that you would give to that individual who wants to lead well in 2026 as it relates to AI?
I would say make sure that you are putting your best foot forward to keeping your ears and eyes open. That's one of the things we want to do so we are not missing a thing. I know we are dialed in and tuned in to so much, but this is a time right now where there are a lot going on. There's a lot going on right now in the business space, in the AI world, also in the world economic um, arena here. We want to make sure that we are always, just being alert to what's happening, because at any time we are at a point where we talked about leveling the playing field. You never know who could be the next superstar in AI, the next superstar in business because of AI is being out here. And you never know that thought or that invention that you had on your mind 5 or 10 years ago. You never know if that's something that you can create in 2026 with what's going on out here. So I just say, I tell people you want to make sure that you are being responsibly and being responsible AI leaders and responsible business leaders as well, because the landscape is changing. We all know that there are certain things at even the government level that is changing now. So make sure that you are always being dialed in to the latest and greatest news in your area, and what's changing, but also how you are going to be that great leader for your business and for your community, and how you're going to add innovation to that.
Jennifer Ponder, you have given us so much to think about and to consider tonight. I mean, you've given us some tools and things that we hadn't considered and things that we hadn't even heard of in some cases. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of homework doing after this particular segment. But I guess as we prepare to land this plane, the question that I would have for you is when you think about success beyond revenue and beyond the growth of the company, how do you personally define success as a technology leader in this next chapter?
I would say for me, how I define success is, each one teach one. If I can inspire that one person, I always say that is it the Kaiser method of, that one person who has heard something that I've said that may inspire them to build their next best thing or to teach someone something that they've learned from me. But just my ability to help, that's always been something I said for me, since I was coming up through the ranks in the technology area. How can I help someone to be what they couldn't see? I always give the story of when I was a little girl, there was always the career days where you had the doctors, the lawyers, the teachers, the firemen, and the police, and just everybody, and those are all very needed occupations. But I never saw the software engineer that was
Mhm.
even the woman. And I said, for most kids or young people that have grown up, they didn't see that engineer until the Hidden Figures, where they saw Katherine Johnston and what she did. And so I say, just being, just that power of one, if I'm able to inspire and give back to one person in any way that I can, that defines success for me and getting to the next level.
Wow. Well said. Well said. All right. As we prepare to close, what is the way you prefer folks interact and engage with you?
Yes, definitely. They can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Jennifer Ponder CSM, and that's just for Certified Scrum Master as well. That's another tech thing. But also too, if you are on other platforms, you can find me at Jennifer Ponder Speaks as well on Instagram and the Facebook business page. But LinkedIn is pretty much my primary place that you can find me.
Well, Jennifer Ponder, again, thank you so much for taking the time to educate us and share these insights with us this evening. I'm sure they're going to be helpful as folks prepare to lead well into 2026 and beyond. So thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here and hope your audience finds that it went well and that they found some nuggets that they can take with them.
I'm sure they will.